Hi, it's Adam here. And in this hypnosis session that you're just about to listen to, you're going to be listening to a session all about releasing heavy emotional baggage, but also awakening a real sense of authenticity. And I was working with a client that had found themselves in a high-paying but very toxic work environment. And they were kind of torn because part of them really liked the status and feeling of value that they were getting from the role. But equally, it was quite a toxic, gossipy kind of environment that wasn't conducive to them feeling good about themselves. And they were using alcohol to cope with these pretty heavy emotions that they were holding on to. And this particular client grew up in the UK in a school system where they felt out of place. And because of that, they had this desperate desire to be accepted and to fit in, even if that meant as a teenager being someone a little different from who they really were. They had learned to build a facade, put on a bit of a mask, and to do certain things that would give them this feeling of fitting in, even if they weren't being 100% authentic. And because they learnt that in their childhood, that was then playing out in this toxic work environment. So this session that you're just about to listen to is very metaphorical. It's metaphorical because the past was multifaceted. There was the work environment, there was the childhood. So it has this metaphor of a deep, dark forest, and that represents their past, and also what it meant for them to be accumulating emotional baggage. And there's actually a bag and rocks metaphor in this particular hypnosis session. But then there's an act, so acceptance and commitment therapy metaphor of releasing and letting go of those heavy emotions, and also some inner child work. And, you know, the idea that we actually have an inner child inside of us is just a metaphor, but it can be quite a powerful metaphor because a lot of these coping strategies or core beliefs were created in our childhood. So therefore, if we reconnect with that part that is either has the resources that we want or was at a time when the new coping strategies hadn't been implemented yet, that can be really, really beneficial. And then there's something that as hypnotists we call future pacing. And the future pacing is them having a future where they are more authentic, they're connected with the real version of themselves, and having let go of that emotional baggage, they get to see that that version of them has a much more enjoyable, fulfilling future where they don't need to numb pain because they're not feeling the numbness. They can really be authentic. There's a lot going on in this session, but I think if you can relate to working in a toxic work environment or maybe a toxic relationship, maybe if you feel that you have to be someone that you're not in order to survive, or perhaps maybe you're drinking more alcohol than you would like, if any of those three things are in place, then I think you'll benefit from this session. Of course, it was created for an individual. Some of the suggestions aren't going to relate to you because they were created for the client that I was working with. So if you do like the idea of working with me directly, there will be a link somewhere in the description where you can schedule a completely free consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, you might get some value from this session. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation, and as you exhale. Just allow your eyelids to feel so relaxed and so heavy. And with your eyes closed, notice how much more of your focus and attention is on the sound of my voice and the words and meanings. Breathing in that relaxation and releasing that tension as you feel that your body is drifting deeper and deeper relaxed. That's it. Scan your body for any clues of tension. Maybe the tiny muscles in your forehead or around your jaw. Just imagine that tension melting away as you breathe in that relaxation and release not just the tension but any stress and worries. As you feel that you've been holding on to a lot of emotional weight, emotional baggage. Things have taken their toll, and it's now time to realize you don't need to hold on to everything. Certain beliefs and feelings belong in your past, not in your present. So breathe in that relaxation, and as you exhale, you realize that the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. And as your physical body relaxes, your imagination awakens. Feel your body going deeper and deeper relaxed. And I wonder if you can think of a forest, maybe a forest nearby, or perhaps a forest from your childhood, or a different place in the world that you experienced that forest. I want you to get a sense that when you were a child, sometimes you were told stories. And quite often, the beginning of a story sounds very similar. Because there was a time, not so long ago, where you walked a long and winding path. And imagine that path was through a forest that seemed to grow darker with every step. Imagine that forest full of whispers, not your voice, but the voices of others, sometimes judgmental, gossipy, harsh, or critical. And as you walk through the forest, sometimes you will see faces or hear sounds of some of those words. And with every unjust word, with every glance that said, "Not enough," "Not accepted," just imagine picking up a stone and placing it in a backpack that feels heavy around your shoulders and on your back. And every time you didn't fit in, weren't accepted, felt that you had to be someone that wasn't quite you, more stones ended up in that backpack. So of course, that backpack grew heavier, not with your failures, but with their projections. But you are strong and you are focused and you kept walking. You endured. And maybe you found a way to be accepted and to fit in. With every step, you learned how to survive in a world that asked you to put on a facade or to wear a mask. But imagine the deep, dark forest opens up and you see a clearing, a sacred space. And here, in the heart of this deep, dark forest, there is now sunlight and a clearing. And here, in the stillness, you notice that this weight that you're carrying and have carried for many years now isn't yours to carry anymore. But over time, this backpack filled with stones and rocks. And I want you to imagine now slowly removing that backpack, placing it down in front of you there in the clearing, opening the bag and tipping or taking out those heavy stones. One for every unfair moment. One for every time you were ignored or silenced. One for every time that you had to self-medicate in whichever way helped you. Because when people can't be their true self, it creates sometimes emotional pain that is numbed. That's it, deeper, deeper relaxed now. And now as you place those stones on the ground, talk to the stones, tell them that you release them, that they are not yours. They no longer belong to you. The clearing accepts those stones. And imagine the stones transform within your imagination to beautiful wild flowers. See the vibrant colors that these heavy, awkward, uncomfortable stones have evolved and morphed into something beautiful. And I want you to get a sense that any pain that you were holding on to or are holding on to is also evolving into something beautiful. And there in the clearing, in that quiet moment of seeing stones turn into flowers, imagine noticing someone nearby, perhaps a child. You recognize this child. This child has qualities that remind yourself of you when you were a child. And I want you to imagine seeing this child barefoot looking directly at you with curious and fascinated eyes. Imagine seeing yourself as a child at a time where that version of you didn't feel that need to fit in, didn't have to play those games, didn't have to earn the acceptance or approval of others. See that version of you before the masks, before the pressure, before the need to earn your worth. So see them on that rock, barefoot, and imagine walking up to them. Tell them that you see them, you remember them, and imagine feeling a sense of cathartic release as you tell them that you're sorry, because this version of you is the most authentic, real version of you. No mask, no facade. You've been showing up as the teenager wearing the mask, but leaving no place for the child that could just be themselves entirely. To give that apology, an authentic, real apology. This part of you should never have been hidden, should have been nurtured and encouraged. And now is the time to do that. As you tell this child that you're ready now to bring them on the journey you're now on. And this child all along just wanted your acceptance, your love. So imagine hugging that child, telling them they are accepted, they are loved. See them smile, not a fake smile, the kind of smile that would light up a room, a real, authentic smile. Because all they ever wanted was to feel safe being exactly who they are. And as the child smiles, something deep inside you is smiling too. So stand there in that clearing now, lighter, freer. And I want you to imagine, given that you're in the middle of a deep, dark forest, you see a new pathway. Not the pathway you found this clearing, but a pathway that leads you through the forest, and we can call that place your future. But this is a glowing path that even if it's deep and dark in the forest, your way is clear. This is a path to the ideal future for you, a future of stimulation, authenticity, but also passion and enthusiasm. You get to enjoy your life being exactly as you are. This is the path that your soul remembers. And on this path, you don't need anything to numb emotions, because on this path, you can process them, feel them, lean into them and learn from them. And every now and then those heavy emotions come up and you can just let them pass, like waves returning back to the sea. But you're not on this path alone. You're holding the hand of that small child. You're on this path together. And while you're walking on that path, you can remember a belief. A belief about that if things are going well, something must go wrong. Not every area of your life can be perfect. But I want you to entertain a much better idea. Feel that old pathway is now behind you, and that's where that belief is. But the pathway in front of you gives you a new way of thinking. That when one area of your life improves, everything else expands. And you know that to be true because you can recall a day in your past where an amazing thing happened. And because that amazing thing happened, you felt happy, you were smiling more. There was a spring in your step, and so many other good things happened that same day because of the first good thing. Deep down, you know that you can have and do deserve the life that you want. Because now you know you deserve joy. You deserve peace. You deserve success that doesn't cost you. It doesn't cost you from the sense of you pretending to be someone you're not. From this day forward, you carry wisdom, not wounds. You give yourself permission to express, not suppress. And you allow emotions to pass without needing to escape them. You can feel grounded in self-acceptance. And you can act from courage, not fear. You are freer than you ever thought. Free to be discerning as to what comes next. It's down to you to pursue your path with clarity and confidence. Because you are safe to be fully, authentically you, where no facade is required. And as you walk down this new path, the glowing path, you can feel the lightness in your body, the clarity in your mind, and the calm certainty that your best life isn't something you chase. It's something you align with. And maybe ideas are coming to you as to what this ideal life includes, kind of work you're doing, how you feel, what you experience, and notice so much more balance and acceptance, so much more joy. I want you to imagine you're coming to the end of that path and leaving the deep, dark forest that we can call your past to a bright, open meadow, still holding the hand of that young child that's been on this journey with you, with a deep feeling of optimism that life is about to get so much better. I want you to hug that child one more time. Tell them they are accepted and loved exactly as they are. And see them joyfully skip away into the meadow. And it's now time for you to return back to the here and the now. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes as you connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken fully. All sensations returning to your arms and legs, feeling fully present. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.